topics and opinions expressed in the following show are solely those of the host and their guests and not those of W4CY Radio, its employees, or affiliates. We make no recommendations or endorsements for radio show programs, services, or products mentioned on air or on our web. No liability, explicit or implied, shall be extended to W4CY Radio or its employees or affiliates. Any questions or comments should be directed to those show hosts. Thank you for choosing W4CY Radio.
Welcome to the Ask the Expert show on W4CY Radio and Talk4 TV, where we bring you educational information from top local experts in the fields of legal, health, financial, and home improvement. Now sit back and listen to experts in family law, association law, hearing loss, business brokers, home care, along with many other topics. Now here are your hosts, Steve-O and Sophia.
Hey, good afternoon, Houston, one of my favorite cities in the United States. Spent about 10 years in Houston. Hey, we've got a great show for you today. You know what? For those of you who snore, for those of you who've got sleep problems, and today we're also, because our expert is one of the finest ear, nose, and throat doctors. So we're going to be doing our show today on ear, nose, and throat. And we're also going to be talking about fraud that's going on right now when it comes to claims. So we got the great show. And I got to tell you, this expert, we're waiting on him now, and he's a very busy doctor. So we're so glad that he can give us 50 minutes each month. He has built up the most incredible practice. And I got to tell you, as a person who has sleep apnea, I know what it's like. It is, first of all, the most embarrassing thing. You know, when you snore, if there's no one around, you're okay. But if you snore, and your wife or your girlfriend is next to you, I got to tell you, it's very embarrassing. And I remember I used to tell people when they'd say, "Hey, you're snoring." I'd go, "No, I'm not." But I was, though. And I finally went to a doctor here in Florida, and they did a sleep study. This is what you have to have done. They did a sleep study on me and found out I had sleep apnea. And I got to tell you, it is so dangerous. And I have told this story so many times that um, I would be driving. See, when you have sleep apnea, you do not get a decent night's sleep. You would wake up, or you would have a hard time falling asleep. It wasn't just a good sound sleep. So I would find myself driving around in the car, and I couldn't believe I'd be falling asleep at the wheel. In fact, now when I hear about any kind of automobile accident, I always wonder if the person had sleep apnea and fell asleep at the wheel. So that really shook me up. And also, I was in a class and I literally fell asleep in the class. And if you have sleep apnea and you're a snorer, you're snoring. So not only was it embarrassing that I fell asleep in class, but it was embarrassing that I was snoring. Um, and I want to just alert Juan. I think what I want to do, Juan, is go to one of our long commercials and let me email Dr. Ludwig, because this is not like him. So why don't we go, if you don't mind, Juan, taking us out to a commercial? We have one long one in there, and let me email Dr. Ludwig. Like I said, this is not like him, and I want to make sure that I gave them the right time. So let's go to a break, one, and then we'll be right back.
K. Bender Rembaum is a full-service community association law firm dedicated to the representation of community associations throughout Florida. On kbrlegal.com, you can learn more about their offices in Pompano Beach, Palm Beach Gardens, Orlando, Tampa, as well as throughout Miami-Dade by appointment. Several K. Bender Rembaum attorneys are board-certified specialists in condominium and plan development law and assist clients with all matters of community association legal issues while keeping them up to date on new developments that affect their associations. K. Bender Rembaum is also a well-known provider of free legal education for managers and board members. Contact K. Bender Rembaum today by calling 800-974-0680. That's 800-974-0680 to reach any of their locations. You can also visit them online at kbrlegal.com or write to them at info@kbrlegal.com.
And we are back with the Ask the Expert show on W4CY Radio and Talk4 TV with your hosts, Steve-O, Sophia, and their expert guests.
And we are back. We just emailed Dr. Ludwig. This is Dr. James Ludwig. He is a ear, nose, and throat specialist, and he also specializes in sleep apnea. Listen, this is one of the problems when you do a live show and you have a doctor. You never know when emergencies come in. We'll just wait for him to come on, and because I have sleep apnea, it's really easy for me to share my information with you. But I was, like I was telling you, I was in a class, fell asleep in class, snoring my head off, and everybody in the class was laughing at me. And I said, that's it. I've got to get some help. And I went to a sleep apnea doctor in Florida. And he said, not only do you have sleep apnea, but you have a real severe case. And he put me on a CPAP machine. And I know some of you are afraid to go in and find out if you have sleep apnea. Um, you don't want to go through the testing, and you don't want to go through having to wear a CPAP machine. I'm going to tell you something. It is not that bad. It is, uh, I've had one now for about 6 years. I never fall asleep at the wheel anymore. I haven't had anybody tell me I snore anymore. Is it a little uncomfortable? Yeah. I mean, you got a nasal in your nose, um, or you can use a full mask, but it's, oh my God, it changed my life. And I guess the best thing is I don't have to have people tell me that I'm snoring loud. I got to tell you that um, I have heard so many stories from this show about couples and not sleeping in the same room because whether it's the male or the female snores so loud, and they've actually had people break up, people sleep in separate rooms. You don't have to do that. And if you go to see someone like Dr. James Ludwig, uh, I'm telling you, first of all, what I love about him is he gives you a lot of choices. If you have sleep apnea, there's other ways besides a CPAP machine. And he's got about three or four different ways to treat sleep apnea. And I got to tell you, it was the best decision I ever made. Um, I got to tell you, I am so surprised that I did not have an accident falling asleep at the wheel. I mean, God was on my side. It was so amazing, and it is right. It's pretty embarrassing when you're snoring in front of people. I mean, because I know I would go over to someone's house and we were just talking, and I'd fall asleep. It happens when you don't get good sleep. And once a person with sleep apnea, now not all people with sleep apnea snore. I've learned this from Dr. Ludwig. But I got to tell you, though, that if you have sleep apnea, it's a good chance you're going to be snoring. And it would, again, so embarrassing, being around people and you fall asleep while they're talking and then you start snoring. I know there's so many people out there who are listening now who are saying, either I have that problem or my wife or my husband have that problem. Um, Go in and find out, first of all, if you have that. There's a sleep test. Now, when I did my sleep test, it's done overnight. And you used to have to go to uh, a sleep clinic, and they would put all kinds of uh, plugs in you, leads in you, and you would have to sleep like that. Now things have changed. You do your sleep test right at home. They monitor you from your house, which I wish I would have had that. But and then if you travel, there are CPAP machines that are so light, so easy to carry around with you. But I know we're going to be talking about ear, nose, and throat today, and uh, I wanted to, because a lot of our shows are done on sleep. And since Dr. Ludwig isn't with us yet, I'm sure that he got some type of emergency because this is not like him. And sometimes we do shows all over the United States. So we do shows in many different time zones. And I got to tell you, sometimes it's my screw up and I give them the wrong time. Uh, I'm actually pretty sure I'm looking back now just to make sure that I gave him the right time. But this is very, no, I did. I gave him the right time. This is very unusual for him not to be on time because today uh, he wanted to talk about really an interesting subject that we have never discussed on the show. He wanted to talk about general ear, nose, and throat, and that alone could take a half hour. Uh, and then he wanted to discuss uh, claim denials, and he was telling me how there was a big story, news story on NBC about exposing insurance fraudulent denials. And oh my God, I would hate for someone to have to pay for that, their insurance not pay for this, because it could get really quite expensive. I know my insurance paid for my machine. I think the machines are about $1,200 to $1,500. Um, but it's something that's going to last you for a long time. Uh, but gosh, if there are insurance companies out there with denials, um, gosh, they charge us enough as it is. And we've been doing a lot of shows on Medicare lately because actually starting in October, open enrollment comes up. And if you're eligible for Medicare, you want to hop on that in October and decide what company you want to go with. Because I got to tell you, my Medicare has paid for everything that has to do with sleep apnea. Because sometimes you need new supplies too, and those can become costly. But most insurance companies do cover this, and I cannot wait to see what Dr. Ludwig says about these insurance companies with their denials. The name of his uh, practice, he's in Sugarland. So it's called Sugarland ENT and Sleep Center. And it's Dr. James Ludwig. And be sure when you call, make an appointment with him, that you tell him you heard about it on the Ask the Expert show. Um, we're going to give him about another 5 minutes, Juan, and um, I don't know, we've never really had this happen before, and I sure cannot talk on this for the next 40 minutes, yet alone even probably 20 minutes. So I don't know with your magic wand if there's something you can do, uh, put another show on if he doesn't show up in the next 5 minutes. Um, maybe give me a yes or no if we can do that on our private chat. But going further, though, that I noticed that he has also told us that uh, when you have sleep apnea, it does a number on your heart as well. And, um, it usually happens with people with high blood pressure, which I have, but mine's under control. Uh, okay, good. Our great producer, Juan, just let me know that he's got something else he can put on. Um, this is pretty deep into the show already. So, Juan, I guess what we're going to do is just have you go on and have it play whatever you want to play. And I'm so sorry we missed Dr. Ludwig again. It's Dr. James Ludwig. It's Sugarland ENT and Sleep Center. And for him to be, which looks like uh, about 20 minutes late, is not like him. So it must mean that he had a emergency come up. What we're going to do is, if he does come on one time, we could not wait any longer. We'll be back with you next week if you're ready to go with another show.
Thanks for tuning in today to the Ask the Expert show on W4CY Radio and Talk4 TV. Tune in next week and every week to hear more from our experts on personal injury, insurance, air condition repairs, estate planning, Medicare, and many other topics in the areas of legal, health, financial, and home improvement. See you next week.